Hello everyone and welcome. Today's video is going to be a bit different, as I'm not playing anything today. Instead, I'm going to do a very long recap of something I didn't get to record. That'll be my favorite server I've been part of, which was WeirdoCraft. I was there for 2 seasons, but in this video we're going to talk about the first. Unfortunately, I don't have the world, so I can't show everything. But I can flip through screenshots and talk about it. Now what you see here is the house I lived in for many months of the server. Which, considering the server lasted about a year, has quite a significant amount of time. Now I lived very far from spawn, largely due to spawn being sectioned off by the person who made the server Weirdo for a shopping district. So when I was told to get out of Dodge, I ran very far, around 2,000 blocks, until I found a village, which I lived in, and later built my base next to. In this time, I was isolated. Couldn't find anyone else around me. And I would have went back to spawn, but it would have been a very long walk. And Weirdo said no making the nether tunnel, because she wanted to do the nether tunnel. Had to be planned, had to be designed. I was like, cool. So I stayed in my village. I made a villager breeder and got my villagers in order, because they cannot live to their own devices. I would later learn this about a year later. Here's the little home I built for them. Got them all in nice little spots. I would later fill this back wall as well. And I started experimenting with variated floor patterns. You can see the breeder over there. Now it was at this point where I decided to venture into the nether. You see, I had my diamond pickaxe, had my iron armor, pumpkin pie that I was getting from my villagers. I was ready. But what you may notice, I had more obsidian, which seems strange since I already have a portal, so why would I need more? Alright, now this is the down spot in the server. If you can't tell, my inventory is empty. Now why would that be? Because I died. I was digging a path through the nether, because I wanted to get to spawn, and I wanted to get to spawn fast. It was about a month after being left alone in the village. After obtaining my stuff, I made it back to my village and started digging a big circle. Now this big circle would later turn into something much larger. I think it was the largest base on the server, although I can't remember quite a few bases. Yeah. I wanted to dig a big circular hole, and I also constructed an iron farm right outside the hole. Which will later be housed in a tower. Now for my hole, I would need a lot of copper, because I wanted to use copper blocks. I loved the new copper. I wanted to get all of it. Also, you can see my big nether portal in this screenshot. I also think I had the biggest nether portal. I dreamed very big on this server. I was a big dreamer. And over here you can see my copper processing, as well as my basalt farm. And here it is, the hole and its surrounding towers envisioned. I took advantage of the recently added shroom lights. And the door was made entirely out of copper. 2 big doors, actually. The first tower for the iron farm is done. The other 3 would not be built for some time. I prolonged it because I didn't know what to put in them. And there's my spruce farm. That right there's a honey farm. And I think that's a sheep farm. Oh, that might be honeycomb farm. I think that's a honey farm. Yeah. Things were coming together, things were looking great. Here's my villager, Mr. Hamilton. Here, not my villager, that's my zombie, Mr. Hamilton. He touched my villagers. And it was at this point I decided to go to the roof because I wanted something. Since I was carrying villagers, I needed something special. Gold. I constructed the server's first gold farm. It may have been the only gold farm. I do not know. I have not seen I know there was a Froglight farm that I did not build. That was Weirdo's build. Weirdo built the frog farm. Had automatic sorting. Those automatic trash. And then I went to south of the shopping district for a very big project, which we will get to eventually. That'll be in another segment of the video. Here's my base. As you can see, I was starting to decorate some, experimenting with the new lush cave blocks, and you can see I was expanding downward. I was starting to dig downward, and I wanted a base you could jump into. And I do not believe I ever made a way to get back out of it. I don't think I did that at all. My base was one you had to jump into and fly out of. And here on the bottom we can see I was really starting to pull it together. Got more pools of water to jump into to get down, and a central garden. Ignore the X's, I was mob proofing. Now this hole in the central garden was to go downward. I wanted to go all the way down to bedrock. It was an ambitious goal, and it was one I would never achieve. But I did renovate this for storage. One of the largest storage systems on the server. Once again, I dreamed big, and I made a lot of progress. Of course, everyone else did too. I didn't see much of everyone else because I was in my hole. Here is my nether tunnel, or at least the original design of it. I would later replace this with lapis because dark prismarine is hard to get, and I did not build a prismarine farm. Here is my iron shop next to another person's treasure. I do not know who made this. I cannot recall. I can't recall who made this either. This build is going to change later. It will not stay looking like this. But no, I did not build this, but I did build this. I also built another farm because I introduced gambling to the server. Well, not a farm, I built a shop that was gambling. Yes, it was rather successful. Here, I changed my nether path. Got it mob proofed. Got them shroom lights all over it. Eventually, I went and found a coral reef. Because I wanted to use dead coral. Specifically the fire coral. But I also would later use this for axolotl breeding. I never did obtain the rare axolotl, but I tried my hardest and farmed every tropical fish. I had to have farmed all 1400 by the time I was done. This is from Weirdo's gambling shop, because she made one. And I spent everything on it. It was interesting. It was an interesting time. Spending all my diamonds on this. I lost many times, and I drained that machine of everything it was worth. Although if you can tell by this point, the dragon was very much dead. A few times. This is my drowned farm. I wanted tridents, so I built a giant chunk error in the sky. I would never later do anything with this. It would stay here, giving me copper and drown. This is my geode farm. It's entirely underwater, with a conduit nearby. I can reach every part of the geode. More of my gambling habit. This was the tunnel created by my tunnel borer. Not my own design, because I do not know how to make tunnel borers, but found a good one. I used it to carve through the depths. Now this is actually very interesting. This is a mob spawner. A zombie. It was found just beneath the surface of my big project. This is not my build, this is Elf's library. My friend, who helped me get all of the copper for my door. I believe Weirdo helped as well. I think Weirdo helped. This was like 2 years ago, I cannot recall. Here is Weirdo's little well, not little, it's not little, it's very large. Weirdo's project, which was a more organized shopping district. And I purchased a few of the buildings, or I purchased this one as well. Actually, I think I got this one. I got one of them. This one I used for my iron chop. I moved it into here and out of the open. I went to an ancient city and found this unfortunate mess. Here is a proper sky view of my base. You see the 4 towers were constructed. That is my frog sanctuary. I built a dark oak tree farm to help get all the dark oak for my big project. That's my zombie cure. That's a second trading hall for librarians, and I think it's librarians, might be toolsmiths. There's also my spruce tree farm, and that's a hill that I sold to Elf. Elf bought my hill. And there's my sheep. It's growing cactus, had composters, nether warts, nether farm stuff. I think this was a house. I don't remember. Got my bamboo, my sugarcane. I was farming for saplings to feed the farm. And these holes in the ground are all for beacons. Because I want a jump boost so I can jump out of the hole. In case I got stuck on the doors, because they're blocking half. As I was building the housing for my dark oak farm, creeper blew up part of it, which the inside is coated in obsidian, so I got very lucky. I reached the point where I was starting to terraform the ground in my base and built a wall around it. And I was really starting to turn it into something. I wanted something that was dead. Mostly due to these little guys. Because the way I envisioned it was similar to a nuclear fallout. Of course, stuff survived. These little guys got a little angry while these guys are happy. Yeah. I also experimented with multi-layered glass and created that. Yeah, that's the premise of my base, and the wall contains it all. Make sure everything stays inside, which I did use. Fire coral. I did get to use the fire coral for that. And there's Elf's Hill, protected from everything. This right here is my super smelter. Of course, you can see inside of it there. But it also tells you if it's working, if it's on. Well, I think there is a empty fuel light over there. So it's the input and the output. And my shulkers that I was using to smoke stuff. I made a second hole because one was not enough. This one would lead down to the big mega reactor hidden under the base. And also a secret hidden under the base. Only one person knew this secret existed. There's a hidden room, which used a key, because there was a room down here full of used observers as decorations with buttons on them. One of them actually did connect to something, so not only did you have to find the right, not the right dispenser, you had to find the right key. And it was for a string duper hidden in the walls. It was before the string dupers were removed from the game. And I would later I built it for a reason. You needed a lot of wool really fast. And I would later give out string for free. Weirdo told me no dupers allowed. Which is why I hid it in the walls. And would later destroy it before the server ended to prevent it being discovered. But of course I'm saying it here. Now in the future, would I ever do it again? String dupers no longer work. I can't do that one. The gravity block duper is very obvious. Can't do that one either. And that's the only ones I know. Yeah, that's what sat at the bottom of this hole, which is designed to be much older. There it is. There's the hole. And there's the outside of my super smelter. Here's my gambling machine and my free string. I also sold special offers. The most popular being the Iron Forces box, which was 4 stacks of iron blocks, 1 stack of jack-o'-lanterns, which sold out every time. Alright, and in this screenshot here, we have my nether bore, my nether tunnel bore. Now, what this is for is to mine ancient debris down in the nether. I did run across several issues, such as the lava, but I used scaffolding to block it all up easily and then push forward. I then, after the server updated, which it took a while, I got sniffers. So I got into that for a while. Made an automatic farm for all the seeds and pods. Now at this point in the server, we had reached the middle of the server. And it was at this point I bought this tower from Weirdo. It was going to be a automatic chicken farm for everyone to use. I never got around to building it. And here's the chest where I put all the diamonds I used to buy it with. This right here is a Ender Pearl stasis chamber. I had also created this big platform out in the ocean for a automatic AFK lava farm, so I could get many buckets of lava to power my super smelter. This is not the finished product of it, but it is partway done. This was when I had went out to eat every single edible item in the game. I had also done many things, and while I was working on my big project for months, which was obtain the rare death message, Death Fell Accident Water. It's very strange. And I died to an armor stand, which I thought was interesting. This is my cobble farm. I built it around the outskirts of my base. The farm is inside the big part, and the rest is just decoration. In this image, I had begun expanding the ground across the entire base and worked over here a little bit. Yeah. And I cleared out the land, such as this big hill that was over here, and more hill over in the other area. This is probably my favorite shot of my base. It really shows you from the bottom to the top. And you get a good look at my garden, the surrounding water, all of my cats, my storage my storage unit, or storage, and this giant tomb, which at the time I said was my hopes and dreams because because at this point I had given up going all the way down to the bottom of the world. But I did include a secret entrance that was supposed to lead somewhere within this tomb. Part of the stairs would give way to a ladder, but that never went anywhere. It was functional, but didn't go anywhere. There was just a empty room in the bottom. Also at this point in the server, which I think was 7 to 8 months, I had finally built a home. I would never use this home because my attention would be sent elsewhere, but I did include Toxic River. And as my friend said, I turned my base into a biohazard. This is a flower farm, but also functioned as a fungus farm. It was at this point I had finished reforming the ground in my base. It was completely done. This is where I moved all my sheep to. This is where my spruce farm used to be. I left all the cobblestone there that marked out where the spruce trees were. And right here, I never did get an image of what it looked like after, but a regular tree farm was put here. And as for back here, you're about to see that. Yes, it was 2 big Christmas lights for my warped and crimson nether tree farming. I used it to get a lot of shroom lights because I loved shroom lights. I also tried to set up a little mini game around the end of the server, which is what we're approaching. But here you can also see a few other buildings. That is, I think that was Chaotic Alex. That is Weirdo's shop for Phantom Membranes, and it also has a lot of beds in there to sleep. That is Weirdo's rocket shop, I believe. And that's Elf's library. And that is someone's plant shop. At this point I finally got around to filling the remaining towers in my base. The remaining 3. This was a dripstone farm. This was a sugarcane farm. This was a bamboo, cactus, and wheat farm. But there was also this. I returned to the shopping district for one of the final times and rebuilt the nether portal, which this is its final form during the night, and also get you a good look at the shopping district. Yeah, I was inspired by the cherry trees and decided to try my hand at making a custom tree. Back here you can see another shop I made, selling all the stuff that I found underground. I replaced my iron shop location, as well as the shop next to it did in fact transform. There was also Weirdo's storage sorting shop, my little very tiny home over here that I lived out of when working around the shopping district, and the ice shop. And that is, I think that's Bond's fishing shop. These are my melon and pumpkin farms. Just towers that gave me melon and pumpkins. And this, my creeper farm. I finally built one. And you can also see my skeleton creeper trap, so I could get music discs, which I did collect all of them. as well as my spider farm from a spawner deep underground, and the AFK platform for my creeper farm, which I turned into a helicopter. It was going to be a hot air balloon, but I decided a helicopter would work best. And this is the final screenshot of the server. It is inside my tree farm because I was very confused of what was happening with my redstone. I did fix the issue. Yeah. That's the end of it. And now we move on to the next part. So now we come back to the gaming district, which Weirdo did build another game as well. It was a crossbow rocket game. I died many times. Now, get to find out what this is. This was my biggest project, and it was known as the casino, or its official name, the Grand Casino. And it was, I think, the largest structure on the server. Here is its outline as well as its first game. I was inspired by some redstone minigames from Rexstone, which is what that roulette design down there is. It's one of his machines. And yes, it does very much look like a turtle. I said that when I first outlined everything. Spruce was the thing I mined the most in the server, I believe. Here's part of the inside, which was the big main room. I wanted the outside to feel cold while the inside felt warm, so I worked with warm tones. And this was the stat roulette, or stat poker table, so some surrounding tables. And I worked hard to modify the machine so it could actually fit where I needed it to. Here is another image of when the walls were finally reaching their peak, and I was working out the roof design, which I had no idea what I was doing at the time. So it's the second floor. And that big structure in the middle, that's going to become the staple of the casino. It was its giant dome, which I was very proud of, and topped the casino. As well as you can see the casino sign and the clock at the casino, which holds a lodestone, which did have compasses that I put in the shopping district so people could be directed directly to the casino. There's another image of the dome as well as the roof that I finished. The roof was completely made of slabs. Nothing could spawn up there, and I put string all over the dome to prevent snow. Here's the front of the casino. You can see the previous roof design down there, as well as all of my shulker boxes and chests. And the clock was moved. I did move the entire clock upwards. This was before I had made the compasses, thankfully. Yeah. This is the jukebox machine, which I used to randomize music discs, and it was activated with a button that would play a disc. Here's the casino shop. It is a bunch of empty shelves at the time it was, but I would later fill a few of these as well as give away some to others, which no one did. This was towards the end of the server. Here's the casino's tunnel that goes all the way to the casino's location. And here is the front room. Using some simple pool table designs, the lecterns that hold the rules and information about the different parts of the casino, the VIP section, the stairs that go upwards, and the store, as well as 5 slot machine style machines. And of course, the very large skylight. Now the VIP section had a fish tank that held every single type of tropical fish. well, the main types, not all the color variations, just the unique named fish. There's always a discount and a personal shop, so it's fruitcake. The VIP section was pretty useful. There are also beds in the casino's main room, so you can sleep. And crafting tables. Here's the side view of the casino. Here's one of its games named Tower of Terror, where you would pay and hit the button to have a chance at each prize, which each prize has a 1 in 9 chance, I believe, and it would have another 1 in 9 chance to send you to the next level and get that prize as well. And that would exponentially increase upwards. Here's the Tower of Luck. It had a 50% chance each time to go upwards, which saw more wins. Here's the official image for the Grand Casino that I sent to the Discord to announce it. You can see I made a few changes. That is my friend very much addicted to gambling. That is my friend winning the gambling. This is the casino's roof. Nothing was up here. So I was building office spaces up here, which I never did finish. And Bond came and helped me, as well as build a hotel in front of the casino for people to stay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And while we're here, I am going to talk about a few of the server members. Because I did make some notes on some of them. Elf was interesting. Found her build style to be unique. Although I don't have pictures of her base. Oh, she was a fantastic builder. And she helped me, I think, the most out of anyone in the server. And she was #1 customer at the casino. Weirdo, she ran the server. She had a big base out in the ocean that I unfortunately don't have an image of. It was ruins. And yeah, she built the second minigame in the gaming district and built the new shopping district. And helped people fight the Ender Dragon. The admin of the server Athens, I didn't see much of them. Saw their base once. Haven't heard much since. Now Tanger was the one living closest to the casino and built a villager statue. That much I remember. Sirius Black. Sirius Black made the first shop at spawn. And yeah, was pretty much it. Bond was very helpful and helped the casino. Helped with the casino. Then there's Glitch. Glitch helped me with a project that I haven't spoken about yet. Glitch helped me make the ice tunnel to the Glitch helped me make the ice tunnel to the mining desert. And this is the image of the present I awarded Glitch, which was a statue and the remaining ice in a shulker box and a netherite pickaxe with silk touch. Efficiency, unbreaking, all of that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I enjoyed my time in Season 1 of WeirdoCraft. I thought it was very fun. I did some things I haven't done before. Unfortunately, server interest was lacking during the later months, and the server came to an end. Fortunately, there's a second one, and I took part in that one. And in the next video, in the next recap, I will be recapping the second season. Anyway, that's the first season good. I'll see you all in the next one. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.